Hello everyone, and welcome to Pitch Perfect, FrontFundr's monthly online pitch event. Once a month, we invite 4 of the companies running campaigns on the platform to come and tell us a little bit more about their mission, their motivation, and what they'll do with the money that they've raised from the platform. Joining me today, we have Anya Switzer from Livelii, we have Osama Saudi from Toro Matcha, Aaron Fader from Tut Fitness, and Klaas Fredriksson from Liquid Wind. A very warm welcome to all 4 of you. It's great to have you with us, and I'm really looking forward to some exciting pitches. In terms of the format, just to recap for those of you that don't know, each of the companies is going to give us a 5-minute pitch, and that will be followed by 10 minutes of questions. And so I encourage you to send in any questions that you have throughout the session, and we'll cover those as we go. We're going to start with Livelii's pitch. Then we're going to go over to Toro Matcha at 1:15, Tut Fitness at 1:30, and 1:45 Liquid Wind. So let's get to it. Anya, hand over to you, and let's start with Livelii's pitch.
Thanks so much, John. And first, no pressure, right? Okay, let's get going here. All right, we're good? Excellent.
That's perfect.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Anya, the CEO of Livelii, a platform designed to help independent workers thrive by providing accessibility to health, wealth, and business services that are as unique as the work they do. This journey started 10 years ago when my co-founder Adam and I successfully built and exited Canada's first advertising agency exclusively using independent talent. There was a massive shift in the business landscape, and these professionals became an integral part of business survival and success. They filled the knowledge gaps, helped adapt to digitalization, and will now play a crucial role in the restructuring of a world drastically impacted by COVID. We capitalized on this trend and business and properties that championed independent workers and were recognized as Canada's 54th fastest growing company. These are the most valuable professionals of this decade, and working with them exposed challenges that would never exist in full-time employment, like securing affordable health and dental coverage, and having support which provides administration and accessibility like an employer would. This results in a disconnect between their business and personal livelihood, and is what charted the course for Livelii to challenge the norms and find solutions for independent workers at the intersection of insurtech and fintech. In the next 5 years, it's anticipated that nearly half the available workforce will be made up of independent workers. Steering the course is not going to cut it. We need innovation in services to address accessibility. We need products that are nimble and customer-centric. And we need a community advocate that provides the data and knowledge to stimulate change. This past year has been a wake-up call. There are large portions of our society who do not fit in the box. If our government adapting policy to accommodate this is any indication of where we're headed, Livelii is on the cutting edge of solving these challenges for independent workers, incumbents, and other platforms. We provide an ecosystem which connects business and personal livelihood for our members. These are very blurry lines for many independent workers, particularly for those that are newly engaged and trying to navigate a career outside of full-time employment, and for those that have been plagued with these challenges throughout their career. We engage them in personal goal setting and provide the interface and infrastructure to help our members access and fund a first of its kind group health and dental insurance plan at up to 5 times less the cost of an individual policy. We support proactive planning for paid leave and retirement savings by connecting these efforts to free business tools to estimate, invoice, and facilitate payments. Income processed through Livelii is allocated towards their goals on a payment-by-payment basis, which truly reflects the nature of their work. Our primary market, the professional services sector, has been the fastest growing segment within the self-employed for the past 8 years running. This is our domain. And our team has been working with and building a network of influential freelancers and independent workers for the past decade. Our product and areas of focus provide us multiple drivers for customer acquisition. And in our eyes, this brings us closer to our goal of advocacy impact. Motivations are driven by both personal and business needs, which are satisfied with offerings established through our partnerships with providers. As we drive product market fit with our primary target, our growth efforts will be directed at secondary verticals and segments outside professional services. We will do this in tandem with defining new offerings with our community across our core pillars to open an infinite number of new revenue streams, acquisition drivers, and really deepen the engagement for our members. Now, we understand that partnerships and reputation and community are critical to our success and are what will position us with optimum exit potential as a nimble distribution partner. Our model is based on a monthly membership subscription, a percentage on each payment processed, and strategic partnership services. We share our profits driven by these initiatives directly back with participating members to be put towards achieving their goals and benefiting from the tools that they use. Now, whether you've experienced these challenges that come along with independent work firsthand, you want to make an impact for future entrepreneurs, or would like to invest in a company that's focused on growth and social impact, we would love to welcome you to our community of investors. Thank you.
A fantastic pitch. Thank you. Thank you very much for that, Anya. Super polished and well rehearsed, and I think you absolutely nailed it. So thank you for that. Can you tell me a little bit, you touched on the fact that you sort of worked in this space before yourself. Can you give me a little bit more color on where the idea for Livelii came from?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned, Adam and I really started working together on our first business 10 years ago. And this was largely based in the creative communications industry, which aligns quite nicely with the professional services sector. And we saw this tremendous shift in how this talent was coming in from an organizational perspective. You know, the internal hierarchy that existed, that rigidness just wasn't working to adapt to all these fast-paced things that were happening. So we focused our efforts on leveraging and aggregating this wonderful community of freelance talent. And it was an amazing time. It was building a community that was focused on creating a cooperative almost. And when we were doing this, working alongside these guys, you know, the stories that came to light and the challenges that they were faced on a day-to-day basis were insane. And this ranges right from the ebbs and flows of payments and how that is happening and orchestrating into their livelihood. And this is where we, you know, as much as we did implement our own internal policies and procedures, it was not a big enough net to really solve these challenges on a grand scale. And this is where the passion and the drive behind Livelii came from. It was the opportunity to take something that we had tons of domain expertise on and a really great understanding of this market, and take on an advocate role and really steer a product in the right direction in getting these supports and these things that are just so table stakes for full-time employment for independent workers to really promote their livelihood and sustainability within what they're doing. Everyone should be able to do what they love doing, and we want to see that happen across the independent community.
I think you're so right, Anya, and you mentioned passion, and that really clearly comes across. I mean, it's full of energy, and you really care about this, so that's wonderful to see. Can you tell me a little bit more about the team? Obviously, you touched on you and Adam, kind of the main drivers behind the team, but I know you have quite an interesting network of advisors. So can you touch a little bit on who's in the team and the advisors and what they bring, what different skill sets, and how they fit into the sort of the Livelii matrix, if you want to call it that?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we have been blessed with is a lot of powerhouse heavy hitters in terms of building this and establishing what this core offering is today for the community. And that I think was largely driven from day one. We have some wonderful strategic advisors who are also shareholders, having a stake in the company, who are really in tune with the approach and how we're going to bring this to market. And these are deep-seated backgrounds with our two strategic advisors, Paneet and Yasser. I can't say enough about these guys, but they have deep expertise in capital markets, in operations, and this large corporate entity that we are tackling and negotiating these partnerships and these provider opportunities and establishing business development in that capacity. And their expertise has just weighed in so much on this process in understanding what we're trying to accomplish and translating that into a very bureaucratic environment. So they've been wonderful in that capacity, as well as the financial side of things. And both of these guys are entrepreneurs themselves and have a ton of background in the product side of things, the tech side of things, and have been really filling the gaps in that expertise in that world when it comes along to Adam and I as well. We have Darla Miazdik. She is, oh my gosh, if there's one person who knows the space better than anyone, it is this woman. And she is a driving force and has been part of the process from very, very early inception as well. And really understanding what is the motivation for this community and ensuring that our vision and the things that we're putting out there into the world are serving its purpose. And that purpose-driven brand is what she has been very instrumental in. Alongside that, we have Dan Lawrence. He joined us on the growth side of things, and he has a very strong product background as well, and has been consulting in a growth capacity for huge entities, and has joined our team because he's hungry and he really wants to see this thing through and make a difference. And he is our deep digital expertise and has a lot of experience on the Marcom side of things as well, and is going to be instrumental to defining those growth levers. And as we scale and get to those user projections that we're anticipating, he's the guy to do it. In addition to that, we've got Gustavo Sanchez. He's a wonderful guy. Shopify. He knows if there's one entity in this world in Canada who knows how to dial into small businesses and really make a platform that serves other platforms, this is the guy. So he's been really great on that front. In addition to that, we've been working with Mark Smith from the AWS ecosystem. This is a guy that is brilliant and lends the VC and investment perspective to all that we're doing. And he's been really, really fantastic in that. And I do need to mention the Techstars Network, going through the accelerator with the Toronto cohort last year. The people and the mentors that we established throughout that have been so vast and have such domain expertise across all of these different verticals. So lots of people that are in our corner and really pushing this thing forward in a lot of capacities.
It's definitely an all-star team you have there. That's fantastic. I'd like to wrap up with a couple of audience questions that have come in. And your first one is, could you maybe provide a bit of color or give a real-life example of how an independent professional would take advantage of Livelii's services, and also how that compares to what's out there right now? And this comes from Mario, who is an independent professional himself.
Hey, Mario, thanks so much for the question. I think that one of the things that was very prevalent in our research and a lot of the interviews that we were doing and fleshing out this idea is that it's a very siloed experience. Freelancing is, we call them solopreneurs, and a lot of this takes place on your own time in their own world. And what we're looking to do is connect this into a larger ecosystem. So a lot of people will go here for this element of their business, whether it be invoicing, estimating, accounting, and these types of things. And this becomes really, really parceled out. And that connection to some of these supports, in particular the benefits capacity, and having this intact for supporting you as an entrepreneur falls to the wayside. And this simple interaction and this simple, I think, intersection between the business activities and the livelihood aspects are what's missing in a lot of the products that are out there, and bringing it into one ecosystem that really, I think, engages you in your workflows as well. A lot of things are orchestrated for a month-to-month basis. The rest of the world can count on salary coming in on a month-to-month basis, and we're really focused on the work process for the independent workers, and that's following through from the invoicing estimating stage, coming through the system, collecting that payment, and then putting those funds towards these livelihood initiatives. And this is on a payment by payment basis, as opposed to that month to month aspect, which I think is a very, very missing nuanced in the systems that exist today.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And I just want to tie it up with one other question I saw that came in regarding future plans. So obviously you have a really exciting product. You've got this fantastic vision. How do you see this developing sort of 3-5 years down the line? Where do you see Livelii down in that time space?
Yeah, it's a great question, because there are so many avenues that we can really tackle with the product that we're building. And I touch core pillars, wealth and business. And these are innately tied to the livelihood of the independent worker, or anyone for that matter. So when we're looking at growth, we're looking at it twofold. So that is an acquisition standpoint, so getting users on our platform, but also deepening the product pool. And this is where that cycle and these levers really come into effect. So our focus is widely adoption within our niche and our primary segment here, with the system that we have built and orchestrated today, and then layering in these elements as we find that product market fit, and letting our community drive these efforts. There's one thing that we don't need to do, again, is that tell the independent worker what they need. We want to know what they're after and find the avenues to explore and provide additional offerings that just further support their ability to succeed.
Fantastic. That's been really great chatting with you, Anya. I really appreciate kind of the time and answering the questions, and thanks very much for that.
Thank you, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm going to hand over to Osama now, who's going to give us a little bit of an insight into Toro Matcha. So when you're ready, Osama, take it away. Over to you.
Yes, thanks, John. Hi, guys. So my name is Osama Saudi. I'm the CEO and founder of Toro Matcha. So Toro Matcha is my vision of what a healthy energy drink should be. When I was a university student, I used to drink crappy energy drinks every single day. Then I discovered matcha, and it changed my life. Matcha is this green tea powder that comes from Japan, and that is very high in antioxidants and delivers healthy, long-lasting energy. But what's special about matcha lies in the fact that the caffeine in it is bound to larger molecules of antioxidants. So when you're consuming matcha, you're getting energy gradually as these larger molecules of antioxidants get degraded. So this is why we created Toro Matcha, the first RTD matcha that's zero sugar, zero sweeteners, certified organic, natural, and most importantly, it tastes really good. And since our launch, we've been witnessing an incredible traction. We're already at over 400 points of sale across Canada, with over 77,000 of monthly recurring revenue. But that's not all. We also got listed with some major players in the grocery landscape in Canada, such as Loblaws, Real Canadian Superstore, Provigo, Sobeys in Quebec, and Whole Foods in BC. So guys, I'm inviting you today to join our journey, be part of the Matcha family, because together we can bring good matcha energy to the world. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks for the pitch, Osama. Interesting to hear kind of a little bit about the origins and what you have planned for the business. Yeah. I wanted to pick up on the first thing you said, that obviously, I think like a lot of us, when you're a student, you're probably consuming too much caffeine through energy drinks. Yeah. Where did you find out about matcha? Where did you come across it first?
So I discovered when I was at university here in Montreal at Polytechnic. So it was through an Asian friend. And I started drinking it first as like really taken the powder. So for those who don't know, like I have some matcha here, I can show you. It's this green tea powder. So I would mix the green tea powder with water, like just in my water bottle, shake it and then drink it. And they noticed that she would give me, good energy without those jitters of caffeine that I would be getting with coffee or energy drinks. So I would be calm, energized for the whole day. So yeah, that's how I discovered it. And there was always, after university, I did engineering. So I'm a software engineer. I worked as a software engineer for a couple of years, but I always had that idea in my mind, like why is no one making like matcha in a ready-to-drink format that millennials can grab on the go? And knowing that, like I looked at statistics, like knowing that 60% of millennials consume energy drinks, and that 70% of them say that they're scared from, the side effects of caffeine when they're drinking it. So yeah, so there was a huge market, and I decided to quit my job. I quit my software engineering job to go full time on this.
That's the entrepreneur way, right? You see a gap,
Yeah,
you go for
exactly.
it, and you push on through. Very inspiring.
Exactly, yeah.
Did you have a particular point that you thought there's this gap? I know I can turn this into a business, and kind of how it goes forward? Because the reason I ask is I think on your campaign page you talk about, there's 3 years of R&D that went into creating these drinks. So there must have been a lot of work in the background that went on before you kind of had it commercially available. So can you tell me a bit about where and how that all happened? Where you went from Osama software engineer to Osama leading this awesome, successful new type of drink?
Yeah, so it took time. Like it was a lot of R&D, especially because no one was making like such a drink. Putting matcha in a drink is very hard, to produce industrially. So we had to do a lot of testing. Choosing also the right packaging was not easy because whether to put it in the bottles or cans, like you have to do the pros and cons to understand the impact of a packaging on the quality of the product and the longevity. So we did a lot of research. I had some good mentors that helped me understanding like the distribution and how the food and beverage business works in Canada. And it was 3 years of R&D before coming with the product that you see today.
And in terms of getting into the retailers that you're in now, is that something that it took you a while to pitch and get there? I mean, we've had Bucha Brew, which is a kombucha drink, on our platform a few times, and Cara, their founder, has a very inspiring story of just kind of walking into Whole Foods and sort of pitching it straight up. Is that how you did it? Was it a slightly longer kind of routine to get your foot in the door with those bigger retailers?
Yeah. So you have to knock on a lot of doors, but you also have to be perseverant and even if like the big guys, like at first the big guys, like let's say Loblaws, they weren't the first to get our product listed. So what we would do, we would knock on like individual stores, like small independent stores, put our product there, got some data, prove that it works, that it's having a good velocity, that it's selling well, then take that data and go see the big guys, and then they would take you more seriously because they see that the product is selling, that there is customers for it, and so that's how we did it.
Absolutely. And you guys are actually, you have an international footprint now as well, I think, right?
Yes. So we just got the national distributor in the US. So we're going to start distributing in California, like this month or next month with Kihi, which is the second largest national food and beverage distributor in the US. And we also got like a contract with the Zoom outlets in Dubai, which is like let's say the 7-Eleven of Dubai. It's the convenience stores that are located at every single gas station in Dubai. So we got listed with those two, and we're shipping our first batch of Dubai products probably in like a couple of weeks. So we already got the purchase order for that and everything.
It's exciting times. It's not standing still, right?
Yeah. Going fast.
You've got the cans in a number of retailers, not only in Canada, but North America and in Dubai now as well. You also offer, I think, powders that people can buy online from your web shop.
So we have a line of 3 powders. It's the matcha powder, hojicha powder, which is a roasted green tea, and the blue matcha powder, which is an alternative to matcha, caffeine-free. So it's for people that, they enjoy drinking matcha, but they can't drink it right before sleeping. So with the blue matcha, they can still make, their latte, their matcha latte before sleeping and have it. And yeah, so we sell them mostly online, but we're starting to sell them in retail too, because we have very huge margins on those ones, and there is a market for it as well in retail. So yeah.
Do you have any plans to add new product lines as well as the cans and the powder? And when can we expect to see those hitting the shelves?
Yeah, so we're working on some R&D for some other, like another line of beverages, which is still with matcha, but more in the dairy-free product, like matcha latte kind of things, like probably with oat milk. And we're working on like a food product, which should be like in the snack aisle, but always like focused on like delivering the good matcha energy through products.
Absolutely, yeah. In terms of growth and marketing strategy, I know you guys run very successful and very visible campaigns across social media, and you talk about a lot of that relying on an emotional connection with your customers. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you build up that connection? Because that's the gold dust with marketing, right? People kind of buy into what you do on sort of a higher level. You've won there, so tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so like the best way we noticed that works, to connect with our consumers is when they hear about our products through, someone they love, they follow, they love, and they care about. So what works most is when we do influencer campaigns. So basically working with like some specific influencers on social media. So when they would talk about our product, saying what they really think about it and how they use it, then it would resonates with their following, and coming from them, it's always better than coming from the company itself. And yeah, but usually we don't like pay them much. It's really we tend to find those followers that love our product, like those influencers that love our product and are willing to do it for not so much. So.
Yeah, so there's also kind of the word of mouth aspect, right? Like they actually like what you do as well, and they've tried the drink. Do you think, obviously as you grow to different countries and you try different products, your core demographic is going to spread out a little bit from millennials, and I assume you're seeing that already, that different types of people are drinking the product.
Yeah.
Do you think the same technique, that emotional connection, is going to work with those different demographics, or are you going to try something new as you broaden your footprint and kind of try and reach more people with ToroMatcha?
So for now, we focus on the millennials and like young adults, like in the up to like the 38 years old. But I think that like if we had to target other demographics, we would probably use like different techniques. But for our target market, the best way right now is the social media.
Fantastic. I just want to wrap up with one more question. Thanks very much for pitching the business and answering all my questions. What's your favorite flavor of Toro Matcha and why? Like if I've not tried it and I want to go and check it out, where's the best way to get started with the drink?
Personally, I like the pineapple best, the pineapple flavor, because it's really fruity, exotic, and still sugar-free, good for you. So yeah, I would advise you to try pineapple first.
Fantastic, thanks. And just to wrap up, Osama, what do you want to say to people watching this if they're considering an investment in Toro Matcha? Why should they do it?
They should do it because they'll be part of a great mission, which is to bring good matcha energy to the world, but also because the food and beverage, like especially the functional beverage category, is a category that's growing fast, and like the return on investment based on similar exits in the industry were phenomenal. So you could get a lot, huge return on your investment.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Osama. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me about that one. And I'm equally excited now to hand over to Aaron, who's going to talk to us about Tut Fitness. So when you're ready, Aaron, over to you.
Thank you, John. I'm just going to try to hear and share the screen.
Sure.
Thank you, everyone, for having me today. Thank you, FrontFundr, a great Canadian platform for investors. Just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Aaron Fader, and I'm founder and CEO of Tut Fitness Corporation. We're a Vancouver-based company. We manufacture high-performance and affordable fitness products, and we've designed one of the world's smallest, patented, most affordable, high-performance portable gym called Tut Trainer Tower and Tut Rower. Our resistance band technology, our patented resistance band technology, coupled with our sleek design and lightweight design, is definitely unique to the fitness industry. There's nothing else like it in the world. Our patented resistance bands increase the workload through time under tension methodology, increasing the higher caloric burn and less pressure and less stress on your joints and tendons. There's nothing else like it anywhere, and that's what's gonna take us to the next level. We want to bring the highest value gym experience to every home by offering the most affordable and effective both training and cardio solutions, offering HIIT, TUT, strength training, and cardio training. The two core products is our Tut Trainer. Tut Trainer only weighs approximately 11.5 pounds. In 2 minutes, you can assemble it or disassemble it, and you can transport it and take it on vacation or to your cabin. You don't have to discontinue your workout when you travel, because you can take it with you and fit into a medium suitcase. Time under tension, the methodology is scientifically proven. It increases and changes the load through movement pattern of any exercise. And we've kicked it up a notch. No one else in the world has our resistant band technology. No one else has our sophisticated resistance band technology, Tut technology. And then coupled with that, we are now featuring a Tut Trainer app, which will guide our users through multiple exercises and multiple training regimes. There will be a freemium, and there'll also be multi-tiered pricing for people to engage with our online app. Also, the first of its kind, our Tut Trainer Rower has tension incremental resistance on both upper body and lower body. So you could load it up 40, 60 pounds on your upper body and 40 pounds, 20 pounds, or whatever you want on your lower body. First in the world that can do that. And also importantly, it's not just a rower. So you can use this rower for rowing, but you can also use it for planks, side planks, skating strides, and 20, 30 exercises will be on the app. Just using the rower, it's not just a rower. And our pricing is a lot better than our competition out there right now. And you've probably all seen the craziness out there with the corporate the capital raises with Peloton, acquisitions by Lulu and Apple getting involved. But what we have is we're going to be the first junior publicly traded home gym company, a Peloton alternative on the TSXV under the ticker symbol GYM or GYM. And we'll be offering this company to obviously people North America and abroad. Our competitive advantage is huge in that we have 3 patents, international patents approved, and 9 international patents pending at this current time, including the patents on the gym itself and our resistance bands technology, our resistance band time under tension technology. We are basically a high performance gym in the smallest footprint possible, a lightweight, sleek design. 250 plus exercises will be launched March 2000, just next month. And we intend to approach the global community. We'll be selling internationally. And another key vertical for us is our OEM licensing. So if you imagine going into any kind of fitness store, you'll see all these different types of equipment. Our patented system could be implemented in any one of those fitness equipment machines, and we are actually talking to current fitness equipment manufacturers right now. And our pricing is disruptive. It's 40 to 350% more affordable. And even more important, our strong margins. We have a 3.5 to 4.5x margins on our product. So I mentioned earlier about the app. Our Tut Training app will have a freemium component with the 250 exercises, but we'll have a recurring revenue model, multi-tiered levels of pricing. We'll also, in 2021, we're going to have on-demand classes ready to go. And this is a huge market. It's a $30 billion online fitness market. So I've been talking a lot about how great our product is and everything else, but here's a testimonial from Carl Bergstrom. Carl's the head performance coach for the Golden State Warriors. He trains Steph Curry every day, and he's on our advisory board now after trying our product for 3 or 4 months. He is now a big cheerleader for our product because it's so unique and it's affordable and it's accessible to all. It can be used by a 10-year-old hockey player. It could be used by an 80-year-old person. It could be used by a professional athlete. And this is where we are. We're a very accessible, affordable, multi-patented fitness equipment like no other, and will be listed on the TSXV coming up in Q2. So thank you very much for having me, and just be happy to answer any questions you might have.
A great pitch, and thank you very much for that, Aaron.
Thank you.
First question I have, I mean, I know we were talking about this just before we launched the webinar, but that is a fantastic endorsement you have there, right? You don't see that every day, kind of. How did that come about that Carl started using the equipment, and sort of can you tell me a bit more about the story behind that? I mean, it's amazing.
We have a great team, a very diverse team. We have Olympic athlete Charmaine Crooks on our advisory board as well. There's a lot of people that are on our team and following our team and actually want to get involved in our team that know these kind of people. And obviously, Carl is from the training community, and Carl is originally from North Vancouver, actually. So there's a connection there. And so Carl's not going to endorse just anything. He told us he sees, I don't know how many crazy products a year he sees. People want him to try it out. But of course, he has now endorsed this product. He tried it for 3 months before he said anything. And his wife loves it as well. So it's a huge endorsement for us from the NBA.
Absolutely. Doesn't get more kind of
no,
more sort of proven than that, right?
No, it's a great feather in our cap for sure. And we intend to get a lot more of those.
Fantastic. Where did the original idea come from for the concept?
The original idea was from a founder who actually is an inventor, and he had one of his products on a naval vessel in the Atlantic Ocean, and he showed his product, and then the Navy commander said to him, you know, if you could ever develop a product that was a high performance gym in a small footprint, and we could use this in our Navy vessels and our submarines, it would be a huge advantage for us to do this. And that was the genesis. That was the start of the idea, and the founder started working on that and tested all different types of systems. And I remember seeing the product for the first time in his basement, and when I left that basement, I just told my wife, I've never seen a product with more potential like this. And so we took it from there, and the industrial design and the engineering was all done in Canada, and here we are today.
I don't know what more I can say there. We've got the NBA, we've got the Navy. I mean, what's coming next?
No, it's a super exciting product. No one else in the world can do what we can do. We're accessible in price, and we're accessible to the world because it's such a high performance gym in a small footprint that no one else can do this. You can carry, anybody can carry this. It weighs 11.5 pounds.
You am I right in thinking you actually did a previous crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter, I think, before the FrontFundr one? Can you talk a bit about how that went and what the response was from people there?
Yeah, with limited funds, marketing the Kickstarter campaign, because some companies put in huge amounts of marketing dollars into a Kickstarter campaign. But within a few days, we'd sold almost 200 gyms, 200 rowers. I think it was like $200,000 or something like that. It was a great success, and some people just bought the gym, some people bought the gym and rower. But the people who bought the gym were so excited about the quality, they would buy the rower and then they'd buy the accessories thereafter. So it was a very successful campaign. In our terms, it is, because we didn't spend a lot of money on marketing it.
Absolutely, that's the best way, right? High ROI and successful.
Exactly, it was a high MER for sure.
Fantastic. And then why the move to the equity crowdfunding campaign? Can you tell us a little bit about kind of why you launched on FrontFundr and what you hope to achieve?
Yeah, no, FrontFundr is a very exciting platform, and it's obviously for investment purposes, but also for product awareness, product knowledge, product education. It hits all those points, and it hits the Canadian market as well. So we're very excited about working with FrontFundr on this project, and of course we'll be going public on the TSXV in Q2.
Want to jump in here with an audience question I've seen come in as well. Is in terms of Are you working on any partnerships or kind of sponsorship deals with, I don't know, sort of athletic teams or let's say kind of other providers in the space?
Yeah, there's so many so many vertical opportunities for us, from from medical rehab to sports teams to hotels to cruise ship lines. We're in discussions right now with and another one is the OEM I spoke about. We're in discussions right now with a medical equipment manufacturer, and we actually customized our resistance band technology from one of their new products. And we see that as a huge vertical for us going forward, because we can customize our resistance band technology, our internationally patents pending, and it's cleared. Actually, our resistance band patents have cleared in Europe and in US already, and 9 more are on their way. So we can actually accommodate those people with all their different types of fitness equipment with our resistance band technology. And when it comes to partnering with sports teams, etc., we've got so many people on board that are with our team. We'll be making those connections very soon, and that's more for PR than volume of product, but it tells a lot about people adopting our product when we get those business relationships done.
You touched on the international patents, and I know earlier you talked about kind of selling internationally, and you mentioned it on your campaign page too. But can you map out a little bit what the blueprint looks like there? Are you focusing on Canada for right now? Is it North America? Is it kind of you have various markets ongoing in terms of expansion and internationalization?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Like I said, we have 3 patents cleared internationally and 9 pending. We will start and focus on the US Canada market to start B2C, but we're very aware that there's other markets, and we're already talking to property developers in other markets for B2B as well. And what we've decided to do is focus on a marketing campaign for North America. And come November, we've actually signed up to exhibit, and hopefully the show goes on at Medica in Germany, in Dusseldorf at the end of November. And we hope that show goes on. That's the largest medical show in the world, and there's 150,000 people normally come there. There's I think there's 5,000 exhibitors, and one hall is just for fitness equipment. And why we're excited about that market is because we've been told by so many trainers that our product would be great for rehab, and no one else can do what we can do. And it's a portable product that people can move around, and it's so lightweight. And of course, the resistance band technology is safer, and there's less stress on the joints as well. So medical is just one vertical for us, but to make a long story short, focusing on B2C in North America and then slowly expanding out.
Fantastic. No, it's definitely exciting times. That's definitely what's going on there. I want to ask you the same question I asked Osama, just to kind of wrap up here, is what would you say to anyone who's considering investing in TUT? Sort of, why should they do it? What's the clincher here?
Well, I think this is a very unique opportunity in that we're basically a new fitness company with possibly 12 international patents coming up soon, that has a piece of a fitness equipment that no one else in the world has, and there's a public offering coming out in Q2. And to top that off, the team we're developing and the professionals we're surrounding us, it'll be second to none. And we'll use those funds to do our advertising campaign, to do R&D for new products, etc. There's no other opportunity like that. And under the ticker GYM, Jim, on the TSXV in Q2, I think you're gonna see people talking about us very, very quickly.
Fantastic. Aaron, thank you very much for your time and for discussing Tut with me. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It's been great. Thank you.
Awesome.
And thank you everybody for watching.
For our final pitch, I'm going to hand over to Klaas from Liquid Wind. So Klaas, when you're ready and you want to share your screen, take it away.
Thank you very much, John. Pleasure to be here. I'm Klaas Fredriksson, the founder of Liquid Wind, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about e-fuels. And I would be surprised if many of you have heard it, so I'll share a little bit that e-fuel is about making fuel from electricity and carbon dioxide. And we believe, and many with us now, that now is the right time to do so. And that's what this picture is about. And it's because we now have reached a point where renewable electricity that we use to make hydrogen has become so inexpensive that there is an opportunity to convert that into fuel. We have also reached a time when governments are setting targets against CO2 emissions that are getting more and more stringent. We see targets coming pretty much every week or every month, but they're normally set somewhere towards 2050. So that's a big issue as well. And that has led, of course, to that there's public pressure now to reduce CO2 emissions so we can avoid climate change or solve the climate change issue. And also another one that is in the making is that people are looking for alternatives to fossil fuel. And this is one of the very few alternatives that can grow significantly large. And as you may know, we're dealing with climate change, and that happens to be probably the greatest challenge that we have ever faced. So we all need to get involved. So if you're looking for a why, I think this is a good enough why to get involved. And we are right in the center of that. And what we then do is we work with what I said here, the renewable electricity and the CO2 to make fuel, and fuels that we can use for either cars, trucks, or the marine market. And we focus very much on the marine market. And as a company, what we actually do is we prepare ready to build facilities, ready to build factories for these fuels. And the work we therefore do and what we're raising funds for is the development work of a facility. And that means that we find sites where we want to put our facility, and that site is connected to a CO2 emission of some type. We then do the whole engineering for the facilities. We have already partnerships with the key global suppliers that can help us make this fuel. So that's in place already. And then we basically make contracts with the power supplier, contracts with the fuel buyer, contracts with the construction company, and last but not least, contract with the project investors that put in the big bucks to build a facility. But what we're raising funds for is really the work we do to get to that point. And when we have a ready to build facility, we sell it to one of these investors, and they can then take it from there and build the facility and produce the fuel. And what's interesting right now is that there are more pension funds or infrastructure funds seeking green project investments than ever before. So there's a good flow of cash available once we've put this piece together. But this is the piece which is risky, or where we need the more risky capital. We started this company in 2017. We've then already done a feasibility study with some key organizations here in Northern Europe. And then we've been moving along a pretty steady path all the way till 2020. We raised our first 0.2 million euros, which is about $0.3 million in Canadian terms. And then we've raised quite a bit more during 2020 and also 2021. And we're now at the point where we've come so far that we're actually got real facilities that are being developed. The first one is in Övik. For all you hockey lovers, you might know that there's a town on the Swedish northeast coast called Örnsköldsvik, where there's a lot of hockey players coming from. Well, the first facility will be there, and we have a financial close for that one in 2022. We've raised about 80% of the funds to get there, but we're still looking for about 2 million. And I think what's important to note is that we're blending crowdfunding with strategic funding to get all the way to the end there in terms of funding. Our next facility is due to be in northern Sweden. We have 2 locations right now. We haven't decided where to go first. That one is due in 2023. We have got a little way on our ways to raising those funds, but we have a lot more that we need. Third one is due for France. Then we think there's one in Scandinavia, and then we're really hoping to get to Canada in the next couple of years so we can start working there as well. And this co-development industrial franchising mean that we may not ourselves do everything from Sweden, but we want to look and find partners that can do the work together with us. And finally, to go back to the issue here of now is the time, because we say that the opportunity to participate in shifting the entire fuel or an entire fossil fuel business may happen something like once every 100 years. So now is the time. So if you get on board, great. If you miss this one, you have a little bit of waiting to do. Thank you.
Thanks, Klaas. Very, very interesting to hear a little bit more about liquid wind there. I wanted to start perhaps with a quick question on you, actually, and in terms of your background. Can you, obviously, Liquid Wind started in 2017, but could you maybe tell me a little bit more about your own background in the clean energy industry and how you got started and what else you've done prior to Liquid Wind?
Sure. Yeah, I'm an engineer from the start, and then I worked with a company called Tetra Pak that you might know, the juice box company. And with the juice box company, I came to Canada actually in 1999, and then left the company in soon thereafter, and then stayed on in Canada until 2013. And so I started working with energy in Canada, in Vancouver, on clean energy type stuff and hydrogen type solutions. And then moved back to Sweden in 2013, and then got started with this company a few years thereafter. So this is my fourth, fifth companies, depending on how you count it, that I've started and run, and definitely the one that has the biggest potential and the one that have come furthest with, because we really got some great traction right now and are moving well forward.
You talk about potential, and I think your mission and overall ambition are super inspiring, and I think they're really great things as well. Could you tell us a little bit about the scale and the ambition that you're aiming for with Liquid Wind? Could you add a little bit more detail in there?
Yeah, so we've said that we want to build facilities, or as I said, develop facilities, and one facility, just to put that in context, produces 50,000 tons of fuel, and is about a $200 million Canadian investment. And we've said we want to build first one, and then 5, and then 500. And 500 is maybe more of a vision, but it's a matter of saying we want to build a lot of facilities. We've calculated that the world needs about 50,000 facilities of this type, so we would be 1% of the global market. But still, 500 is a huge number, and therefore we have to think very differently in when we do things. So when we design and engineer, we are very much into digital tools, so we can copy what we've done before and do it again. We're also into newer manufacturing practices and standardization and modularization, so we can build things much quicker than has ever done before. Because we think there is a window till 2050, and then this has got to be done. Either somebody else is going to do it, or we're going to fail as humanity to do it. But in that window of 20 to 25 years, there's a lot to be done. So we're quite focused on that and finding and working with the best companies, the best people in that space, so that we can reach that huge goal. We also have a sort of very strong focus on our branding activities and how we want to take this and make it into, if ever possible, a global is a big term, but maybe a regional brand of fuel, of a new type of fuel. So yeah, pretty ambitious and a good set of people to help us do it.
Ambitious, but we need to aim big, right? Because I think you said in your presentation that, it's the greatest challenge that humanity has ever faced. And as I'm sure you're well aware, and most of the people listening are, I think Bill Gates has just recently released a new book about the climate challenge we faced. And I read an interview with him about the book, and one of the things he mentioned was that solving climate change would be, I think, the most amazing thing humanity has ever done. And by way of comparison, sort of the current pandemic is very, very easy, just to give a sense of the scale. Do you think it's fair to say that we're at a crossroads right now in terms of people changing their mindset? And if so, how is Liquid Wind going to capitalize on that shift in direction and mindset?
Well, I think it's exactly what you're saying. We are at that crossroad, and you can of course ask yourself, is that crossroad going to be 3 months or 3 years or 30 years? But I think it's somewhere in the 3 to 5 year phase where people, I think first young people, and then individual people, and then eventually companies, and then larger companies are making the shift. And we've seen it with, the oil companies are buying offshore wind rights in the UK in the last couple of days. Yesterday, our close, how should we say, a potential customer of ours, Maersk, the biggest shipping company in the world, they came out with a huge announcement saying that every ship they build from now on is going to run on carbon neutral fuel. So they are the first, but when they take the lead, then others have to follow. So I think that there is a mind shift, and some people are going out in front and having the guts and the sort of will to change and shift, or to go first in the shift, and then people will follow at whatever pace they can. What we are seeing as a recipient of, if we call it crowd type funding investment, is that people are very keen on what we do, and people spend money on us and our company as an investment, and we don't always know how much they actually know, but I think they feel that this is the right thing to do, and that's what we get a benefit from as well.
No, I completely agree with you there. I want to pick up on a couple of audience questions I've seen coming in, which relate to the plants, or the sort of the facilities, I should say, and what you mentioned in your pitch in your slides. One is in terms of like the timescales of building a facility and how long that takes, and the other one is more specifically, you mentioned you're looking at potentially building a facility in Canada. The question was whether have you any idea of where that might be in Canada? Is it going to be Montreal, Vancouver, somewhere completely different?
So on the time scale, it takes about a year to engineer a site, to engineer a facility. And depending on where you are in the world, it takes a year to 2 years to get a permit. Now, of course, you do those in parallel. We are pushing for a point where we will have engineering and permits done somewhere between 12 and 15 months. So that's the one piece of it. Then we also need to build it. And the first time we build it, we think it will take us 2 years or 18 months to 2 years. But we do think that we can build much of it in factories, or actually in shipyards, ship them to the site and then put them together quickly. And then we would like to bring that time down to 1 year instead of 2 years, so that our whole project could be a 2-year process. And that's the type of pace I think we need to go at. What we will then also do is we will have our blueprint of how to do this, and our whole kind of digital twin, as we call it, and then we can share that with these co-developers, so they can be doing their development in parallel to us, and therefore we can move on multiple fronts at the same time, and then have standardized production in one or potentially a couple of locations that put these modules together. And by really thinking about that sort of manufacturing piece, we think we can cut the time that this will take, so that we can get the flow out, the production capacity up as soon as possible. Because just in the container ship business, they would need something like 1,000 factories if we're going to shift container fuel. 1,000, actually a bit more than 1,000 plants of the size that we're doing. So there's a lot that needs to be done, and I think that's why Bill Gates is saying it is a big shift, both in the mindset and also in the opportunity to change things around here, so we get carbon neutral and sustainable solutions. And I think your second question was on Canada. Absolutely. We try to go where there's a good carbon source, and a carbon source you would find in pulp mills or combined heat and power plants. They would be most prevalent, I would think, in the Quebec area and in BC, but I think we can find them across other parts of Canada as well. So if anyone knows of someone who has a pulp mill or is interested in seeing if we could do something with the carbon emissions from that pulp mill, please let us know, because we're definitely already out there looking for opportunities in Canada.
I want to just wrap up with the other question that I asked the other pitchers to classes. What would you say to the people on the call that are considering an investment in liquid wind? Why should they do it?
What the crowdfunding has done for us has been absolutely instrumental in moving us forward to the next step, where we can help save the planet, or be a part of the solution to save the planet. And I know sometimes I get the question, yeah, but you need so much money, and I'm only putting in $1,000. And I say every $1,000 has been super valuable for us, because the big guys that we need as well, they take such a long time before they can make up their mind, whereas a little person can make it up very quickly. So I think that's the one reason it is super important, and you are helping to make a huge difference. And it's still early days. I mean, this is going to be a huge increase. So how and where we will go, we have different ideas in terms of exit strategies. But of course, one that always comes up is going public at some point in the future. And that's something we likely need to do if we're going to go this really, really big one. And initially, we're going to go medium fast, if you will, and we raise sort of funds through the normal channels. And then if we need to, we go even beyond that. But help save the planet and get in early. And thank you in advance.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing the Liquid Wind story with us, Klaas, and for answering those questions as well. Really appreciate that.
Thanks a lot.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm afraid that's all we have time for today. But if you'd like to find out more about any of these companies, then of course, please do head on over to our website, and each of them have their individual campaign pages where you can find out more about them. We'll also be sending a follow-up email out tomorrow with additional information if you need anything from there. I'd like to say a huge thank you to Anya, to Osama, to Aaron, and to Klaas for taking part today. Thank you so much. And also to everyone who tuned in from home as well. I hope you will stay safe, stay healthy, and see you all again very soon. So thank you very much, and have a great afternoon.